Guys, welcome to another episode here of the Scott Wyatt Podcast. We've been doing a little bit of changing this up a little bit, so I'm going to take care of a little business here in the beginning of the podcast before we get rolling with the actual topic of this episode. We were doing a weekly, every Monday episode. Right now, these will continue going out on Monday, but I'll give you a heads up online. We're going to be switching it to a bi-weekly show. On Tuesday. It'll be coming out on Tuesdays. That's due to some content changes that we're going to be rolling out over the next couple, I'd say next 3 weeks or so, along with some new music coming your way. So, yeah, there's that. Kind of giving an update of what's been going on since we've had a week since the last, a week and a half since the last podcast. 2 weekends ago, I went and saw a artist who I'm a huge fan of. You may have seen the pictures of finally getting to meet this guy for the first time. It was awesome. His name is Bryan White. He is a country singer, lots of success and tons of great songs. I was a big fan. He was a big inspiration to me, throughout my childhood. I remember going to Florida from Illinois to go visit family down there. And I remember sitting in the back seat. And this is at the time that cassette tapes were still a thing. And you had what's called a Walkman, and plug in your headphones, press play. I had saved up the money to buy a single, which was a cassette tape with one song on it, which was his Bryan White's single at the time was called "Love Is the Right Place" from his album "The Right Place. And I just loved that song. And to tell you how much I loved it, on the way down to Florida from Illinois, I listened to that song nonstop. That's the only song I listened to, and I listened to it consistently. I had my headphones on. I kept play, then after it was over, rewind, play, rewind. I fell asleep, woke back up, boom, same thing. Just kept it going. Did the same thing on the way back up. I just loved the song was so catchy, for one. And there were so many different intricate parts that were that makes that song so special to me. Basically just the coolness of it. Some of the background vocals were amazing. The little bridge part where it builds up and he does like this little vocal thing. I meant to ask him what made you do that whenever I met him, but it slipped my mind because I can't remember everything in this world, right? And and then also after he does the vocal run up, then there's like a drum part that's really cool before it kicks back into the chorus. Yeah, so it made an impact on me. All of his music has. I've been a huge fan of his from the get-go. But getting to what he was doing, kind of add some context to this. He was playing in Alton, Illinois. It was a sold-out show. It was in a small room. So I wouldn't say small. It held about 100 people, somewhere around there. But the way they had it set up, you could sit on either side of the stage. They had chairs that were in the front. And there was not a bad seat in the house. It was just a solo acoustic performance. And one thing that I learned from his solo performance, I knew that he played drums and was a multi-instrumentalist due to his background with his family and everything. Never knew he was such a great lead guitar player. I mean, he's just a great guitar player all around. I could just sit and listen and play guitar forever, but he played all of his hits, talked about them, was super friendly to the crowd. It was kind of just one of the moments I'm just sitting there just like, it takes a lot for me to get inspired anymore, but I was definitely inspired by that. Take that back. I get inspired every day, but to see a performance sometimes that really just hits you. I think the last time that happened to me was last year with Eric Church. Then got to meet Bryan White after his show. He was exactly kind of what I figured he'd be like if I ever got to meet him. Super humble, super duper nice. And I tell you he's nice, I'm saying he's like up there like Charlie Worsham, Joe Nichols nice, two of the nicest artists I've met. I mean, all of them were super nice, but these guys, there's just something about them. It's just like, I feel like I could have went back and had dinner with Bryan White like I've known him my whole life. Super nice. Just very cool, and wasn't in a hurry to rush anybody out or anything. He was just had time to spend, so it was awesome. So yeah, and he's got some new music coming out too. I believe May 24th or 25th, whatever the last Friday is, I believe. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then last night, which whenever you hear this, it'll be a week from now. I went to a Maren Morris headlining show at the Pageant in St. Louis with my wife, and Ray Lynn opened up, and let's kind of talk about that for a second, just to throw these ladies some love as well. Ray Lynn, I'd heard a couple of her singles that made it on the radio and stuff, and was familiar with her, but never really dove deep into her stuff as far as she's released 2 albums and 3 singles, I believe. A new one called Rowdy. But her live performance, folks, her and her band were on it. And it was great. They have this new song. I don't believe it's been released yet. It's called Keep Up. And if that's not going to be a hit, then I don't know. I don't know what is a hit song. I mean, that song is just a fun song. And the way they performed it live was fantastic. And then Maren Morris came out and blew the roof off the place. She was fantastic. Her band as well, fantastic. I can't say enough about the show. It's probably the top 5 shows I've been to. So it's a great combo, Ray Lynn and Maren Morris. So that's enough of me jibber-jabbering about what's been going on. We're going to hop right on in here to the actual topic of the conversation. I'm going to take a sip here. I'm not drinking that Four Sigmatic coffee today. I'm drinking some mint tea. No sweetener, no sugar, just going straight for it, shooting it straight. Okay, so last episode we talked about the Jackson sessions, which dang, I tell you what, that's a tongue twister. We talked about the Jackson session. Wow, what in the heck? I tell you what, I need to figure out what's going on with my mouth. I can't talk. Last week, we talked about the Jackson Sessions, which was released in 2017. I got it! Woo! All right. I'll tell you what, we're having some success today, aren't we, folks? I'm glad you're here with me. But before the Jackson Sessions came out, I'm going to, kind of what we're talking about today was my first writer's round, which we'll get into in another episode in the second season, where I'm going to have Miss Mara on from Aura that was there with me on stage. Her and Nick Johnson, the guitar player. Heck of a dude. So yeah, I'm going to kind of back up a little bit, because after recording in Nashville and stuff and playing down there for the first time, I wanted to do a Songwriters round. I'd never done one. I believe my first one, this might have been 2014, 15, somewhere around there. I checked the online stuff trying to figure out, hey, can I do a Songwriters round? How in the hell do you get onto a Songwriters round? Do you need to know somebody? You need to throw somebody at 20? You need to go do somebody's dishes for them? What do you got to do? And I came across this guy that to this day has always booked me anytime that he had an opening that I was going to be around that could do it, and really kind of helped me get some of that experience. And his name is Billy Lee, and really appreciate him. He is the man. Super talented guy too. Heck of a guitar player, songwriter, singer. Him and his wife Amanda, excellent folks. But yeah, I contacted Billy online, just cold messaged him, instead of cold calling like some people do still this day. I was like, hey, here's the link to my stuff. I know you probably get 1 million of these. If you're interested in having me on, let me know and I will be there. 2 days later, it was set. And so I'm cruising down to Nashville. It was on a Thursday night. And I remember getting there, found the cheapest hotel I could stay in. I think it was $55 a night in north of Nashville, the city, in Goodlettsville. And got there, unloaded my stuff, and then got ready. What are the 3 songs I'm going to play at the Songwriters round? So I started contemplating, and So I'm like, I already got my 3 songs. I roll into there. I think I was, I don't know, in one of the middle time slots. It goes on for about 3 hours. And seeing when I got in there, I was like, woo, a lot of these, some super talented folks playing here. If you have any self-doubt issues, go to a songwriters round if you're an artist and overcome that quick, because it's easy to happen. I mean, there's so much talent down there. And then I got to, so I go up on stage and meet Maura Murphy and Nick Johnson. They're sitting to my right. And I'm like, well, these guys look like pros. They look like they just jumped off of a magazine somewhere. And I heard Nick, playing some guitar riffs, doing a quick sound check through the monitor. I'm like, okay, dude's a heck of a guitar player, so this is going to be cool. And so me and Maura talked real quick up on stage, who's going to start out? And I said, I'll start out, might as well. And so I started out, and I believe the first song I played, which is going to be up on a new release that'll be coming out this year, called County Roads. And I was like, all right. I got through that. I was nervous as all get out. And then Maura started singing and doing her thing, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there like mind blown and kind of scared in a way, like, holy crap, I'm definitely out of my league here. I mean, she is a fantastic singer, and next season you'll be able to hear I'm going to talk to her about her career and kind of what's been going on. She's been doing a lot of things and staying busy, as well as at the end of that I will play I have the full recording of my first Songwriters round, actually. They were cool enough to shout out to Woodstock for hooking that up. And she kind of blew my mind with her vocal abilities, and the songs were great as well. I was, so needless to say, whenever she finished her first song, I was, you can even hear it on the audio. My trepidation, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? I better pull a big one out here and don't sing off key, Scott, which can happen sometimes. And so we kind of, with the banter between each song, kind of talking and giving each other props. I did get through the second and third song and finish the night out. It was a great experience. I still remember it to this day. It was a great learning experience. And like I said, Aura, which Maura Murphy's behind Aura, the band. She's the lead singer, and they're fantastic. So I'll be dropping some links in the show notes of this podcast and YouTube video to go check out her stuff if you want to. And so that was my first Songwriters round. I went on to do many different ones at different places and things like that over the years, and still love them. It's one of my favorite things to do. Such a good time. And I've met tons of amazing people through that. So that's about all for this episode. It's a pretty cut and dry one. I'm going to take another drink here. Cheers. And then next week, we're going to be talking about what's to come with the second season and kind of where we're going to be going from here. I'll be talking about some of the information on an upcoming release. I got a single that'll be coming out this month, I believe, the end of this month. Song called You Tell Her, and I'm excited for it. It's got some upright bass on it, which isn't used too commonly in the mainstream world anymore. I mean, it is in like bluegrass and different things, so I'm excited to get that finished up. After I finish up with this podcast, I'm actually going to go and finish up my last part of my vocals. And this is the quickest I've written and released a song. I wrote it, I think, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so it would have been, the middle of April 2019. So I shouldn't say 2 weeks ago, because some of you guys may be catching up on this. I may not be catching this episode until, maybe next year. Who knows? Maybe just come back to see what happened back in the past. But yeah, I think that's it. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Every Monday I'm releasing a new series that I have. I've 2 videos deep in right now. It's across, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the whole nine. Just look me up, Scott Wyatt Music, and it's called Wyatt TV. And the first part of the series, I'm taking you through some of the spots in my hometown that I liked. We already went to the Lions Park in Whitehall, talked about some of my memories there and things. Then I took you to my secret songwriting spot. And the second one and the third one, we're going to be talking this coming next week or today if you're listening to this on a Monday, which is when this drops, the audio version. Video version will be on Fridays. We're talking about one of the first clubs I ever played in my hometown, the Paradise Club. Yeah, so we got a lot going on. I'm been getting ready for some other things. Really going to boost up the weekly cover Wednesday thing and make that an every week commitment, as well as some new Facebook Live stuff and a lot of things. I keep saying I figured after 30 plus episodes I'd be a better talker. I guess that's why I never made it on the big radio station as a talk host, like on the Friday Drive at 5. Oh yeah, I could be a radio host. But I think that people would just get a kick out of me stumbling over my words all the time and then trying to figure out what words I want to say. But anyways, that's enough of my rambling. I appreciate your time, and I'll be back here real shortly. I appreciate you, and tell me what you've been thinking about the podcast so far. Everything I've heard so far from y'all has been very well appreciated. Just let me know, and I'll catch y'all on down the road.